Wow, we got some good.
Welcome to the East County Prep Football Preview. I'm Ramon Scott, joined by my partner Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com. We're with the Granite Hills Eagles officially tonight, Dave. First of all, we're going to start with Stan Earley, senior offensive lineman. He's below me down here. And, of course, the man with all the records. And not only, Dave, all the quarterbacking records at Granite Hills, but the record for the most frequent guests on any of our shows, Justus McComb, the senior quarterback, headed to Southwest Missouri State. Dave, we caught you earlier on an earlier show. Great to have you, man. This is so exciting. Going to get these previews rolling. We'll talk to these guys. Also going to have Matt Keeley join us from the Eagles, the senior, and Coach Kellan Cobbs will join us in a little bit. But, Dave, what do you say, man? This is awesome.
We have been waiting way too long, and I'm sure the young gentleman below us can attest to that. From all the workouts, Justus, how long? How long you've been preparing now? Is it going on a year and a half?
Basically, just about. And Stan's been with me the whole time, working out, at my house, and then going to my dad's studio. Been through the whole thing, just working out for a year and a half, basically, waiting for this time to come.
Stan,
you might be getting that text from Matt, but
from Matt, yeah.
Stan, so tell me about not only yourself, but the offensive gurus that you are blocking up front for Justus. We're talking about he might be a top 5 passer in the county, and without you guys making your pulls and blocking for him, he can't be that top 5 guy. But it sounds like he has all the confidence in the world in you guys.
Yeah.
So
we're definitely I'd say we're the most confident.
And tell us about your full cast on the offensive side of the ball, as far as your line and who you're lining up with.
Yeah, so to my left, we got Blake Riley. He's probably my favorite human of all time. And then the center, we got the big homie Blast. And then at left guard we got Figgy, and then we got Mitri. And then left tackle we got Tanner, funniest kid I know.
Hard worker and very, very fiery competitor. Have to make sure that dude doesn't get into too much trouble in the game. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The one thing, Dave, about several of those players that Stan mentioned is their familiar names. The Eagles are going to be one of the most veteran-laden teams in the Grossmont Conference. Interesting, Dave. I think I got the word tonight. There'll be no league champions determined as of yet. I don't know if there'll be a change of that, but we'll see. But a veteran team, Granite Hills, and the way things are shaking out in the pandemic, in the Grossmont Hills League, even if there's no champion, every game is going to be a championship game this season. When you got 5 or 6 games, every game is going to be so important, especially for these seniors, playing these games. Look, for all of our juniors, all of our sophomores who might get more looks this year, might be some people who decide not to play or whatever. We're doing this for the seniors. We really are. And, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Just got an update from Coach Cobbs. He's going to be a little bit more delayed. I guess they're going over the COVID protocols and exactly what's going to happen on the field. Tying up the loose ends. We're a go, so I'm sure it's getting pretty deep now. It's going to be interesting to see it at the high school level. Finally, Governor Newsom finally loosened up the reins. All other 49 states, but we won't get into that too much. but it's just great. I think that a lot of the the let them play move, I think really did. I want to say that it did have some effect, positive effect on letting high school sports evolve once again. And I mean, there's just, you guys both know, there's like, the list goes on and on of why high school athletics are so important for futures for you guys, and then even for mental health, especially with the pandemic. It's more vital than I think a lot of folks realize. It's not just about going out on Friday night, which we appreciate more than anything, but the mental health now, and knowing that you guys are going to actually play in a competitive game is it's got to send your mental health right back where it needs to be. And I can't imagine how excited you guys are. I mean, it's around the corner.
I mean, it's coming up quick. Like we're getting to helmets and practices like this weekend. I never thought it would be this quick. I thought it was going to be like, oh, they're going to keep pushing it back and all that stuff. But it's coming up like quick. We learned last week that we're going to get a season, like possibly, and we're already getting into helmets and pads and stuff. It's pretty surreal.
Yeah. Stan, I when we were talking about for the show about Super Bowl, and when I watched that Super Bowl, I just kind of got disappointed. It kind of felt to me like we weren't going to make it. We weren't going to get there. But this has just been a wild series of events, and that's, the motivating factor for you guys getting out there. I don't think it's going to be about winning a championship. Yes, winning football games are important, and being competitive, but just getting these games in. What do you think, Stan?
Yeah, totally. We want to go 6-0, but we love just playing 6 games. As many games as we can, and if we can get a championship in, that'd be dope. Just really excited to play.
And Ramon and you gentlemen know this, especially because of what the pandemic has caused. It's going to be real vital, even in these 6 games too, for the juniors, for scouting reasons, to determine their future and, where they may be, and after their senior year, I mean, that's 6 more games of film that they'll have. And hopefully scouts will be able to get a little more a better feel for how much talent we have out here in the East County or Southern California, or California as a whole, that they haven't been able to get a hold of. It's been pretty difficult. I mean, you know that better than anybody, Justus. I mean, I think there would have been a lot more doors open, if you will, if we had more film.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I am so thankful for the plan that has laid out, because I am so happy with where I'm going, Southwest Minnesota State. I went on my visit. I'm sure you guys saw that, and that was absolutely amazing. I loved it there, and I'm so happy with how this turned out. I'm just excited for kids like Zach Burton, who is absolute hard worker and deserves to get certain looks by certain colleges, and getting him film is going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see how that kid's future unfolds, because he is one of the harder workers I've seen and most competitive kids, and obviously has a talent and is a big kid. So I can't wait to see what he does this season.
Stan, you probably even remember that play. I brought it up a couple of times to Justus. I think it was versus Steele, and it was that
play.
Yeah, it was that long late laser that you threw to Zach. I mean, and he was gone. He was gone. And they didn't even know it hit him. I mean, they were definitely not ready, and the speed that he had and the way you laid it in there. I mean, it just that was probably one of your top 5 highlights for sure for the Eagles as a whole offensively.
Dave,
it was a great
talked-
play. We drew that up just for Steele because of the coverage they were in. So
and the
it worked.
familiarity with the Cougars
Special
for
name to
sure.
that one.
I'll never forget that one. As a matter of fact, I was on the Cougar sideline when it happened. So, it was, but you know what's exciting about that is you guys get to play them twice.
Is it though? I
think
don't know. The schedule came out today. I haven't
They're
seen
not going
it
to
yet.
do that now.
It changed up a little bit.
Yeah,
So
only
we don't
6 games.
we don't know for sure. For sure, it's like might be looking like we're gonna play Grossmont twice. But we don't know for sure. So then we might try to get an out of conference game instead of playing Grossmont twice, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Dave. The way it shook out, and I think they just aren't going to be able to compete for a league title because of I don't know why, but what they'll do is each team is going to get 6 games. Some of them can elect not to have a 6th game, or the first game could be a scrimmage. So I would think in this year of the pandemic, maybe you have a scrimmage because you couldn't get another game. I think we want to get 6 games if we could. Not sure any of the teams would just elect to have a scrimmage to have a scrimmage. Maybe it's a bit of logistics because of the number of teams, or not too much cross-district stuff with the pandemic. I don't know. It's awesome where we're at as far as these numbers going down. It's amazing. But all these seniors on the Eagles, Dave, are to be celebrated. I mean, they got a roster full of them, certainly, and some good underclassmen as well. But Justus, you have a lot of weapons, man. 3,000 total yards for you last year, 2,600 yards. We talked about on the other shows with you. But if any team has more weapons, even those teams, maybe they're ranked above the Eagles. I'd be surprised. I don't know if you actually could say they might have the numbers that the Eagles have. And, of course, I think everyone knows by now, it's not a secret, Justus is going to be the most experienced quarterback in the Hills League. Tyler Buckner is enrolled early at Notre Dame, so it's going to make kind of things interesting. I'm sure Helix is ready to go, and they're ranked number 9 in the state still, so they're going to be very good. But in this age of the pandemic and these teams in the Hills League, I think they all could beat each other, Dave.
No, absolutely, and of course, you being the Helix alum and myself being a former Eagle, I mean, just those 2 teams right there. I mean, you guys are going head to head is going to be very interesting up against Helix, and I mean, especially after last year, I think that'd make you pretty hungry to play them again.
Mm-hmm.
Especially to go out
It's
your
close.
senior year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're always a good team, as Stan could attest. They always got big guys and athletic kids. I think we have more athletes out this year than we did last year. I think we're a lot more athletic. I think we're a lot faster than we were last year, in my opinion. And we got our whole O-line returning, so we got big men too this year. So I'm really excited to see what we can do against a powerhouse like them.
Well, and they're all, and that's the thing. Maybe that's what they're why they're making the decision on possible non-championship for the league is. I mean, all the teams are going to be tough, really, in the Hills. But you guys, of course, I would say Helix and Granite are going to be the top 2 picks if there were to be a title. I mean, what was it? 2 years ago, we had the trifecta. We had the triple crown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe this year, Dave, it'll be up to the media to decide who the champion is. If there's teams with 1 loss, I'll just flip a coin or have a hot dog eating contest or something to decide who the champ is. I don't want to.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, it's the same thing as normal for league games. Like if it was a normal season, we would just do the record of your league game, right?
Okay.
The record of your league. So why can't we just do that this year?
No. I mean, it would be a mythical champion. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any patches awarded, official league champion. I mean, but there'll always be kind of like when BYU, Dave, won the national championship. It was a mythical national championship. So maybe we'll have a mythical league champions in our 2 leagues this year. I don't know. I guess we could do that. And if you want to look at it that way, I'll be fair to the other 3 teams in the Hills League. The Eagles, if you look at the rankings, they're not going to count. They don't apply to any playoffs or anything like that. The Eagles are rated below the other 3 teams in the Hills League. But, like I said, these equalizers on this veteran team that they have, the experience they have playing these teams. I mean, the Grossmont game last year, Dave, you were there, right? The Grossmont Granite game?
It's hard to tell too, though. I mean, we're gonna have, with Odom gone, it's gonna be a different look. Not to say that Justin Brown's not gonna be something special, but Tom Carlo's he's always got his team ready to go. And if there's ever a fired up coach I've ever seen, head coach that is very passionate about his football team, it's definitely Coach Carlo. I'm sure you fellas could agree. Having played Grossmont, he definitely is a passionate coach, and usually comes out with a good fundamental football plan. When he comes out on the field, he's been doing it for years. Was a quarterback himself, locally, even over at Grossmont College. So
I'd rather get these guys on the record before Coach Cobb gets here. See how much appreciation you have for their head coach, Stan. For Coach Cobbs.
Yeah, you gotta love that guy. Yeah. I mean, the guy is he's one of the smarter coaches. And, he's just like a fun guy to be around. He's never he's always going to want to talk. And if you have a question, he'll answer it. And he's just a great guy, funny guy to be around at times, for sure. He can get mad for sure, though. Couple 3 and outs, he'll get mad at you, get you fired up. I love that, though.
It's like if you saw that on the sideline and you didn't know who Coach Cobbs was, you'd be like, oh, he's a mild-tempered man. But, us team players hearing him get fired up, we're like, oh, yeah, we need to get moving. You know what I mean?
Justus, imagine humbleness in a way of Coach Cobbs. I mean, to a certain extent, the Eagles, just because of the way the power shift of the teams has been, for all the success and all the victories. I mean, look at his career. I mean, he's had a great coaching career, still kind of looks up to these other teams, his friends, the other coaches, his friends in the conference. But while those other teams continue to produce winning seasons as well and some good talent, look at some of the talent that Granite Hills has produced and has gone on, Dave, to other schools. I mean, we talk about Justus as his opportunity out Southwest Missouri, but look at the Garrett Curran. He was just an all Mountain West Conference honorable mention at Boise this past season. That was a great accomplishment for him, and he's only a sophomore, right now at Boise. And I just saw this just today. I saw a couple of days ago at Tyler Gonzalez. He has worked his opportunity that he got at Utah to walk on, be a member of the practice squad, and you've seen some great news out of some of those practices and spring competitions that Tyler got his chance, and now he's moved on to Idaho State. So great job there. And another one, Justin, I don't know if you guys saw this one. This is an incredible story of another Eagle, a legendary Eagle, Seth Collins, Dave. To some, that name might sound like an ancient player from the past, but Seth is going to have his 7th year of college eligibility coming up this year in 2021. He's had, oh man, just such tough luck with his career. You guys are probably a little bit familiar with it, from illnesses to injuries to some incredible moments. I mean, the guy, when he's healthy, he's kind of like a human highlight reel on the football field, but he's gone from playing quarterback to wide receiver, and now at Texas Tech, a defensive back. He's done it all. And so you can see the Eagles and Coach Cobbs continues to produce D1 athletes out there on Madison.
Yeah, I mean, when I first met Coach Cobbs myself and watched him on the sidelines, I thought, he's a defensive guru, and I thought, oh, that's his specialty. But then second year watching him out there, 2018, I said, no. He's an all around. He is just a football guy, and like you guys mentioned, and I have seen him on the 3 and outs. I've been right next to it. As a matter of fact, quite vocal if you're real close, your ear's real close there. But it definitely, even a great interview, mild-mannered guy for the most part, though, when you talk to him. But when he's in game mode, very, very difficult to pick his brain on something. I'll tell you that. I mean, he is when it's you guys are on the field. I mean, he's so locked in, and you guys know that. I mean, just coming to the sidelines to get some of the plays from him. I'm sure, Justus, quite well. I mean, he's definitely locked in, but he's come up with some really good defensive schemes too, though.
How much work you do with him, Justus? Yeah. How much leeway do you get?
Coach Cobbs?
Yeah.
He trusts me. I try to stick with the game plan and stick with what they're calling to make sure it works. Our offense is designed to get people to move side to side and get them to move horizontally. We have a lot more speed for that this year, which I'm really thankful for. He trusts me to make the right reads, and he trusts me with all of that. And I trust him because he knows what he's talking about. And I can see that because of, I would say, the diversity of our offense. We might run gun all the time, but that doesn't mean that we don't have diversity in what we're trying to do. Like, you go to other teams and it's like they run the same thing over and over and over again. And Coach Cobbs, I just really appreciate the mind that he has for it. And I would accredit our defense to not even just Coach Cobbs, but our defense coordinator, Coach Vinny. He's always dialing up stuff, new things, and he's such a defensive mind guy that he comes out with great game plans when we play other teams. Like, great game plans, knows exactly, he'll call out the play. He's like a Luke Kuechly of coaching. You ever see those videos of Luke Kuechly who knows exactly what you're going to run when it comes up? He's the same way. He'll yell it out in the game and they'll run it. And it's like, dang, this guy really understands the game. So both him, Coach Cobbs, and Coach Vinny together are just really great at putting game plans together to go succeed on the field.
We haven't touched on Stan and Justus. Is your backfield this year?
You want to take this one, Stan?
Yeah, probably my just the most humble person of all time, Hodges. He's the
Hodges.
fastest human I've ever seen personally.
He's wearing that number 5 like Reggie. Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hodges is very tempered, very Stan said, humble, but dude has a motor. It's very hard to get down to the ground. He's not going to go down on that first hit. Probably the best play I've ever seen in person was against Grossmont, the play he made where he got stuffed on the goal line, span out, ran all the way out down the sideline, span off other one, stiff arm another kid, and got in the end zone. And I was like, that was ridiculous. So him coming, he was only a sophomore. He's a junior now. Him coming back, he's going to be an absolute stud this year. I know for a fact.
You gotta love those stiff arms.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Stan, you ever heard a more unique cadence than Justus's?
What do you mean? Just
I don't know. I
say
almost
go?
want to imitate it. I almost want to imitate it. I don't want to, you know.
I just say
It's
set
short- it's
go.
so
I just
short and
yell it really
it's-
loud.
Yeah, and it's more short and abrupt, I think, than other signal callers. Justus, what do you know about Seth Collins at Granite Hills? You must have been about 10 or 11 years old. Did you ever hear about him? He was a dynamic quarterback. Now, you have all the records, and you're a great athlete, but this guy was an unbelievable athlete.
Yeah, I heard about Seth Collins when I first came in. Funny enough, my dad used to coach a Christian high school. So I would go to all their games. I didn't really know much about high school players when I was 10, but coming in and I watched that guy's huddle and he's a freak. He's definitely a freak in nature. And, it would be awesome to meet him if he ever comes down to Granite Hills. That guy's definitely a legend when it comes to Granite Hills football. So, yeah, just watching him, it's crazy. That's something I want to focus on too, is making sure that I'm athletic to make people miss. And he was really good at doing that.
And Stan, the Eagles have had great history, really, of linemen, especially offensive linemen. But Curran, he's somebody you definitely look up to. Do you follow him enough? Do you technique wise or anything like that?
Yeah, but so I'm really tight with the Burns. So Jake, I really look up to Jake. So we've talked a few times about offensive line and stuff.
I'm almost embarrassed I didn't throw him in there.
Yeah,
You know,
I was like,
especially after
perfect.
after his big news. So yeah.
He's set up to that guy should definitely get drafted coming up. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he's
no,
gonna be
I
an
mean,
absolute stud.
talk about fast risers, right? Especially you know, after he went to Baylor, it looked like he was shooting up the draft charts a little bit, but really caught some headway there during the season this year. So, Dave, these Eagles, I don't want to belabor it too much. I'm trying to stall a little bit to get our other guys in here. Anything from Matt, Stan, or no?
I'll check real quick.
Okay.
You
No
know,
big deal. And we'll
you're-
cut Coach Cobbs some slack. I mean, he's done so many shows with us, and
yeah.
we'll catch up with these guys again probably somewhere in the season. Go ahead, Dave. I know there's some more names when we get out of these. These guys.
No, you were just mentioning the cadence and the past and if there was a lot when I think I've mentioned it before too. You were saying about Justus is right. Two quarterbacks before him is Jake. Is that guy was freaking loud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you heard him from the stands, and as a quarterback, you have to be loud because there's cheering and all that stuff, and you gotta make sure that your linemen know what your voice sounds like, because there's people on the defense, even though they're not supposed to do it, they do it anyways. They'll be like, "Go," or they'll say, and I'll say "set," and they'll be like, "Go," and they get our line to jump. So I want to make sure that they know exactly who is saying "go" when it's being said, and that it's me. So I need to make sure that they know exactly what my voice sounds like, and that's loud, so they know when to get off the ball.
No, speaking of that, the noise, and I was actually touching on it with Coach Cobbs a couple of days ago. He was on the way home, and I guess the setup is going to be, from what I understand, 4 tickets per player, and as far as parents in the stands, and then which he's like, I know it'll look kind of weird, and I'm like, not really, because if you think about how many players you'll have on the roster, and if you actually have 4 people show up per player, that's going to be some pretty full stands. So I mean, it's going to be pretty loud.
It'll be like 200 plus. Like
I mean,
around-
not
right
like a
around there.
typical, not a typical Friday night at Valley
Yeah,
Stadium, but
exactly.
Hey,
But it'll still be fun having fans there. I think that's what they're negotiating right now with the district is that.
and these numbers are going to go down rapidly. I mean, it might start off in one thing, but who knows? In just a couple of weeks, we could have more fans in the stands. And
I mean, it's
anyway,
the end of sickness
if they can
season.
do it in baseball, if they can do it in baseball, they can do it. If they can do it in the NFL. And what were they? Couple of teams did what about 15,000, 20,000.
well, Dave, yeah, you know what? We should be able to go on the stands, but
Well, they're gonna allow us to come on, but
we run some names by you guys. I think you might have mentioned them. I want to make sure maybe they're not. Make sure they'll team some guys that had some big impact last year and would be big this year. Matt Wallace, guys on the team
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Michael Walsh. Yeah, he's a good linebacker. Comes downhill really hard. I'm sure Stan can attest to that, right, Stan?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Harvard.
For sure.
Harvard, big year last year. You got
Yeah,
Harvard
he's
this year?
good.
Yeah, Justin's gonna be good, and we got some really good actually young linebackers coming up from JV. This kid Brandon Kleist is a hard hitter, comes down hard, and reads very well. So he's going to be a really good linebacker asset for us.
And Dave,
Andy,
it's kind of sketchy with the names right now because we're just getting going. I mean, I'm just making excuses for myself not being fully up to speed. But I will tell you this, Dave, the Eagles have more transfers coming in than went out. I think. Justin?
I mean, we got two. My homie Joaquin from Helix. He transferred from Helix. He's a sophomore this year. I've known that kid since I was like 5 or 6. We've been friends ever since. Played on the similar Pop Warner teams. He's fast, really fast. He's got hands. He's going to be a really good asset for us. And then Angel from Steel Canyon, receiver, is going to be a really great asset for us too. He's a great route runner, fast. Like I said before, like we're getting a lot faster this year. Angel is definitely adding to that, and he's a very smart player. He's already really up to speed with what I want from him, with what the offense needs from him, and he is able to suggest things to me, which always makes me happy because I want to know what they need from me. So he's already being able to suggest things to me, saying, "Hey, what about this and this?" and asking questions and being very into the offense. So it's awesome to see.
That's Angel Almazan, who has achieved some pretty good things on the varsity with the Cougars before he came over to the Eagles. So he's a veteran player there too, Dave.
Yeah, and how well have they adjusted to the routes and the different playbook?
They've adjusted great. What I try to do is to make sure, which I need to get back on it. We need to get back on it. But I got a little busy with practice schedule. Is making sure that I get out there early or extra with my wide receivers, and they know exactly what they're supposed to do in every situation, right? Because if we're not on the same page, nothing's going to work. If we are on the same page, there's nothing that's going to be able to stop that if we all know exactly what we're doing. So if we all do our job correctly, if we all do our job correctly, it's going to be almost impossible to stop, obviously, because that's how football works. If you do your job better than the other guy, you're going to win. You're going to win it.
Stan, what have they told you guys as far as your timetable for the end of this week? Will you guys be practicing on Friday or waiting till Saturday?
Yeah, I think we're
practice.
Friday. Yeah, Friday's first practice, and then Saturday we got 2 practices, and off for Sunday, and then next week I think we're starting shells. Hopefully,
getting at it.
So Friday for
I think
sure.
we might be able.
Full pads, helmet, everything.
No,
Friday is
just
helmets. But I think their second practice Saturday is going to might be able to be shells. So like shoulder pads and helmet.
Yeah, it's a race against time, Dave. You got to get these X number of practices in before we can play the first games, and we're hoping to get out there in just a couple of weeks. We only need like 14 practices, and these guys have already had a year or more.
I know, basically,
and not just at Valley Stadium either. many as we've seen via Twitter and Instagram, obviously, Justus, you've had practice your own practices several different places.
Yeah, you practically
Yeah,
have your own all-star
sure.
team, Justus. What you told us in some of previous conversations, even from some of the other schools.
Yeah, yeah. My friend Jared Forster, he's at Santana. That dude's very good receiver and very good DB. But I've been working out with all my guys. Matt Keeley, Stan has been working out with us. Zach worked out with Zach multiple times, just making sure that we're ready for the season. Working out with the main leaders of the team. Blake works out with my dad. Blake Riley, who Stan mentioned. Tanner, another lineman, works out. Everyone is making sure that they're going to be ready for this season.
Tanner Bill, I want to say his name. Can you say it?
Stan, you say it. I'm not good at saying it either.
Tanner Vilguth.
Vilguth,
yeah.
Should get it by now. He's been around.
Yeah.
Stan, what's your football goals?
6-0, obviously.
I mean, personally.
And, oh yeah, first team offense. That'd be the first goal, obviously.
And beyond this year?
Hopefully we're heading to college.
Did you want to play football?
Yeah, I got a few schools.
So these games are still important to you?
Yeah.
They all are, but I mean, personally.
Yeah, for sure.
And beyond football, anything you're looking in particular as far as a possible major and what schools would fit that bill?
Yeah, I'm looking into sports management.
Nice.
And the one school that's kind of recruiting me right now has a good sports management program. So
you gotta love that, Ramon. I mean, just what 2 nights ago, the Christian High, Caitlin from Icor's from Christian Volleyball, and she wants to be a sports broadcaster. So it's
well, look at these. Not only these Asians, but some of these other. How about the gentlemen? We don't have Kellan. It looks like we're going to end up the show here a little bit. We don't want to keep these guys up all night on a school night. But poor Kellan, you guys. Yeah, right. Wake up early. Poor Kellan, you guys. His favorite time of the year other than football season is April. Gets to watch his Padres every night. Not this year. It's going to have to be at practice and games for the first couple months of the season. But Stan wants to go into, kind of maybe an agent or something like that. How about the guy who started that company, Big League Advance, and basically negotiated a small contract, but with Fernando Tatis, says we give you $100,000 now in exchange for a percentage of your first big league contract or first big contract. Makes a big play. It's like he's playing Bitcoin or GameStop with player stuff. It's like Top Shot in real life. Stan, those kind of
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, those kind of stories interest you. Those agent stories, things like that. Is that what you're interested in?
Yeah, I saw that he got like $30 million from that contract. It was crazy.
How would you advise Fernando Tatis?
14 years.
Nothing he could do. Mm-hmm. Nothing he could do. He agreed to that deal with that company. Right?
I'm cool with that.
I don't know if he expected if he expected to get a contract for $300 million.
Right? When you're in Double A, and he said, I was in Double A. I wanted a better place to live than a typical minor leaguer. Just shows you how poorly these minor leaguers are treated. But he's like, I want to live a little better than a regular minor leaguer. I want to get my own training together. So I'll take this chance. I'll take this advance from this company.
I think he's happy with the 340.
I think he's happy with the $300 million he still gets with giving up $34 million.
And the taxes might be.
Yeah.
Justus thinks he's faster than him.
For now, he'll be.
I did not say I was faster than him. I just said he doesn't run like a 1440. I did not say I was faster than him. No, I did not. I did not say that.
And the funny.
You're allowed to say it.
The funny thing is I was hearing that it wasn't that Preller didn't actually, the ownership didn't even want to put him on the field in 2019. They didn't even want to put him in full time. I mean, they didn't want to bring him up as quickly as they did, but Manny Machado and a few other veterans were like, no, you need to put this guy on now.
Yeah, I read that. I saw that.
Yeah. And so as it stands now, that was definitely a fact. But after seeing what happened this past couple of days with the recently terminated general manager of the Seattle Mariners, who actually said that the major league teams are manipulating time for young players, all of a sudden the Padres come out looking like a team that knows what they're doing, a player-friendly organization that's putting the players' best interests in the forefront and not the teams.
Finally.
And the players are, kind of noticing that in some of the media too. So that's very interesting. So while we're getting off the track with these guys, Dave, we'll catch up with Matt later. Of course, we'll get Coach Cobbs. Let these guys go unless you got anything else for them. I mean, I'm just excited, so I can only imagine the level of excitement for these guys.
I know that my mental health went through the roof as soon as I saw that we were going to do this again. So after like you mentioned, Justus, I was like, yeah, they're going to push it back again. They're going to push it back again. I'm not going to hold my breath. But then all of a sudden it was just like Ramon's texted me what's been tweeted out. And I'm like, what? I got to make some phone calls now. We need to get these previews together. We're going to, and then he said, we're going to have to do a virtual, and we're going to, and it was just like, boom, boom, boom. Okay. I got to hit Steel Canyon. I got to hit Granite. I got to hit West Hills. We got to get this thing going. I mean, we have to move just as quickly as you. And then it's like, oh, it's going to be basketball season too, right in the middle of football season. Awesome.
Oh yeah. And that's why we're giving cutting coat some slack, especially after I stood you guys up yesterday. But in talking also with Coach Ash, Dave, these coaches are busier than they've ever been. I mean, all these guys are veteran coaches, have been doing this for mostly over 10 years in this conference, and they've never been busier. They're appreciative of it because they want to give all these student athletes an opportunity. They're not upset by it at all. Stan, it's going to be a lot nicer even though the weather's warmed up this week a little bit, it's not like going out there in the middle of August.
Yeah, it's way nicer. I'm going to have my helmet on and it's going to be chilly. I'm going to be like, well, what's going on here?
Right.
I'm not sweating.
Right. When you go up and practice, the day practice, you hit the guy in the sweats. You don't even see the guy. You're just sweating, just pounding on the guy because you can't see.
Yeah. It was August, summer.
I like
summer.
That's what makes me like. I'm gonna have to get acclimated to the cold because I like.
I was leading into that.
I like it when it's hot outside. So me going to Minnesota the other day, it was like -12, and I was like,
yeah, and then the wind chill, and then you had the wind chill.
Yeah, wind chill's worse than that.
What do they call it?
Yeah. It's gonna be like nice 80s springtime. temperature for us playing. It's not going to be like
Just
110.
seems like that list of Southwest Missouri State players has gotten even longer. The San Diego connection. They're going to start calling it Southwest Minnesota San Diego. I said Missouri, but
I know there's a lot of guys.
Southwest Minnesota San Diego State. I think so many guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys from San Diego going, and I have really good connection with Hunter from Westview. Really good guy. I spent most of my time on my visit with him. We've been talking about like future plans there, and we're going to try to request a dorm with each other if we're able to do that with COVID and all that stuff. So super excited about that.
Yeah, hopefully, in under a year, COVID will be a thing of the past.
Hopefully.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, probably won't go away, but as long as we have all the vaccines
Back
and
to a little bit of
therapeutics,
normalcy.
stuff like that. Imagine, Dave, once we get to next November, there's going to be a little bit of a caution by people. Probably go back to wearing a little bit more masks, things like that. Probably have to wear them out there for the first couple of games too. At least the people who are participating like us, Dave. When you see the games on TV, the media's
just whatever you do,
masked up.
Don't listen to any of the Oakland teachers that didn't or the Oakland board that didn't realize they were being watched and listened to live. And then I heard the La Mesa Spring Valley today too. The district board members were meeting, didn't realize they're being taped, and they weren't as eager to get back to the instruction in the classrooms. But I think they're going to be a little more careful what they're saying when they're in those meetings now. I didn't even realize they were public and that you or I could actually just get the Zoom link and go in there and watch and listen. Pretty interesting stuff,
right.
actually.
Yeah, these guys got to be tired of Zoom. Got to be tired of us too. Let's get out of here, Dave. These guys spend all their time in front of computers looking at little rectangular boxes, and we're going to catch up with them. And we're going to get, Dave. We're going to get highlights of these guys. We're going to get interviews, stats. We're going to play football.
Highlights is
yes, sir.
That's what I want to. That's the most interesting part is finally get some film and have some new highlights. And I expect some
fun.
I should expect you guys putting up at on average at least 35, right?
Yeah. I think that's a good goal. 35 a game. I like that goal. Sounds good to me.
Sure.
You like that, Stan? 35 points a game? Yeah, let's do it.
Heck yeah.
I just think it's going to be cool that, all the games are pretty much – there's going to be a few non-conference games, Dave. Teams will have to go out of conference, pick up a game or two, but it's going to be basically 5 or 6 weeks of Grossmont Conference teams playing each other.
Works for me.
Football's football.
And finally seeing youth football after a weird NFL season. And watching my boy Drew Lock turn into the biggest bust in the.
I'd have to disagree with that. I think you give him a couple more years because that dude has an absolute cannon for an arm. Stan, don't even listen to me, bro. That guy, if that guy could get his reads down, he will be a legendary quarterback.
Go get yourself a Trey Lance. Go get yourself a Trey Lance.
They are going to probably give him another year, by the way.
I think they give him another year. I think he gets some linemen around him too.
Better than your boy Breeze.
Drew Brees is top 3 quarterback of all time, so don't use me.
He'll be a Hall of Famer. He'll be a Hall of Famer.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Just like I was a little worried. I was a little worried Manning wasn't going to make it in there. They saved him for last. And
Peyton Manning deserves to be. He's also top 3. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, top 3 quarterbacks.
No way. No
yes
way.
way.
No Brees?
And don't even try to put
Montana's got to be in
Tom
there.
Brady,
It goes Brady,
Peyton Manning,
Montana,
and Drew Brees.
and then 3
Montana's
is
top 5. He's not top 3.
Smash
Brees?
smash the like button and then type into the description your choices for the top 3 quarterbacks. Match them up against Justus McComb's top 3 quarterbacks. We'll see what happens. Enter your 3 quarterbacks in the chat below.
Don't forget John Elway.
I put John Elway in top.
I like your
top
dad,
10.
Justice.
Him and Montana were good opposites.
Mm-hmm. Dan Marino, obviously,
Young's
all those
gotta be
guys.
in
All those
there,
guys are
too.
legends.
Well,
Well,
gentlemen,
Young. I mean, you got to put all those guys out there.
It's good
I
listening
could
to them
talk about
that.
Hall of Fame quarterbacks all day. All I know is that I might stir up some controversy with this, but all I gotta say is Aaron Rodgers is very good, but not the GOAT and I think he's overrated to some people.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just take my shot
That's
here
all I
and say
gotta say
that the
about
NFL's
let's pick
comeback
some more.
player of the year this year was from Helix. And if you look at all the quarterbacks that have been produced in San Diego County, kind of hard to find one that's with as much production as Alex Smith. Longevity and production, and obviously an incredible story.
Comeback player of the year.
What he did. So, all right,
And,
Dave.
last but not least, since it was very newsworthy, I'm sure we're all happy that he considering the type of accident that happened is that Tiger Woods, even with all the screws and everything they had to put into him, he's alive and well. And after a horrific accident like that, good to see that he's awake, he's talking, and in good spirit. Because that, I don't know if you saw the condition of the car too, and they had to get the jaws of life, and could have been a terrible tragedy.
Well, never count out Tiger, Dave. I'll just say this. I mean, terrible. Maybe his career will be over because serious leg injuries comparing with the back injuries. Stan says he
Peyton Manning did it with the neck.
Anybody?
He's gonna win a Masters.
Yeah, this is way
This just
before.
means another Masters.
Yeah, way before my time.
Gracious.
Way before these guys' time. But look up Sam Snead. He was injured in a terrible auto accident and went on. He was younger than Tiger. Obviously, Tiger's one of the oldest successful golfers of all time. But Sam Snead went on to win majors after a car accident almost killed him. So that's my story. I don't know why we got on that tangent, Dave, but catch up with those other guys later. Shout out Matt Keeley. Shout out to Coach Cobbs. He's going to not be able to watch those Padres for the first 2 months because he'll be busy, but he'll get to watch Fernando Tatis all summer as he prepares for the football season, Dave, that's going to come up. It's going to be – the season's going to end. It's going to be July.
I think – what do we think? First game, the 21st?
Football season?
Yeah.
August?
Oh, for next season or right now?
Right now.
No, March 14th, 7th. What is it? 14th? 17th, something like that.
I think ours
Whatever
is
that
12th,
Friday
14th,
is, 12th.
around there somewhere.
It's in
I think it's that second week. I think it's that second week or something.
It
second
is,
week
Dave.
of March.
We're starting
Yeah,
practice right now on Friday to get those 14 practices in.
But I got
to get them in so we can get the games started. If we can't get them all in, if something happens or something, we're going to start the next week. That's what they said.
Yeah.
What?
I just don't think CIF should have so much. Oh, never mind. Anyhow.
No, go ahead now, Dave. We've got 7 viewers here, and this show will probably get about 175.
I think CIF has too much power over this, and if the governor's pulling for a whole thing, then I think that CIF should be going right along with them. And like you said, the numbers, and if we have to go back to the old flattening the curve, it's been flattened. And
Once we get below that, you can't go back. Once you get below that threshold,
CAF San Diego CAF is following what the judge said now. This is what I heard,
right?
that they
There's
actually had a
no
meeting
doubt
with
about
him, so they would
I
have been
think,
held in contempt if they didn't.
I think CIF was
Right.
just towing the line to make sure, but
What is it supposed to be?
Hines
13.
said it
It's supposed
right
to be
on
13.
local
We're at 15
television
right now.
that he was ready to proceed.
Mhm.
So we're ready to go. These guys are ready to go, Dave. We're all ready to go.
Yes, we are.
All right, Dave.
Pedal to the metal.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, you guys. Stan, thank you so much, Stan Earley, offensive lineman, senior, Granite Hills Eagles. Justus McComb, QB1, all the records. Granite Hills Eagles senior quarterback. Dave Dickens. I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.